Hello friends, and welcome back. So I wanted to put a video together to explain at least one of the mechanics that I think needs to be discussed concerning combat in Gloomhaven. In this video, I'm going to discuss how monsters take their turns, when they take their turns, and monster groups, along with their abilities. So in the pause menu, if we go down to how to play, it shows a round summary that is a pretty cut down version of how each round works from the mercenaries to the monsters to taking the actions and then ending the round, the cleanup. And I wanted to focus this video on this part here. So if we want to learn more about this, we'll go down to monster behavior and how they're going to take their turns. So as with the mercenaries, each monster group has a deck of cards or a hand of cards, but this is not chosen the same way that the mercenaries choose their cards. Instead, they just choose one random card from their deck or hand of cards and play that one. And that one card will dictate how the monster is going to perform its turn. If it says move on it, then it will move the following number. If it says attack, then it will attack. It's not going to move if it doesn't say move, and it follows this from top to bottom, okay? And these cards change their values, their attributes of move, attack, range, and potentially add some negative effects or positive effects. The strengthen, for instance, or wound for their attack. All right. So these things are not really discussed in the game here, but is very well known in the board game. And in the other example, the Bone Ranger is going to attack 1 and attack 1, but it's going to be using the range from above. So as you can see on that top line there, it says health of 3, a move of 2, an attack of 2, and a range of 3. In the case of the Bone Ranger, it's going to attack at range 3 twice. Whereas the Living Bones doesn't have a range at all. So it can never attack at range unless the ability card states so. And these are things to keep in mind. As you're playing, watch what the enemies are doing, because they're going to be pulling those cards all the time, no matter what. That same deck of cards that they have for abilities on their turn, that's what they're going to carry with them everywhere. But as they level up, their health and movement and attack and range are going to be increasing. Next is how the monster group takes their turn. Of course, they don't all perform their turn at the same time. If there are multiple monsters of the same group. So how that's going to work is the elites will act first, and then the normal monsters. And they go in ascending order of the number they are associated with. And you can see that here. So if the elites are numbered 1 and 3, and then the normals are numbered 2 and 6, then it would go elite 1, 3, and then normal 2, 6, in that order. Next is monster focus. So as it becomes the monster's turn, is going to find the closest mercenary that it can target on, or it's going to focus on. But that doesn't mean that it's necessarily the closest counting hex. It has to count its path to get to its closest enemy. So if it can't get to you, however, then it won't move at all. It doesn't move to prepare for the next turn. It just won't move at all. If it doesn't have a hex for it to stand in this turn, there's no forward thinking about the AI in this game. And if that monster, for instance, the Living Bones here, can target multiple mercenaries, then it's going to move to a position, if it can, to hit multiple mercenaries. So it will focus on the first one, the one that's closest, and then it will say, can I move to a hex adjacent to my target to also be adjacent to another target? And then it will move to that hex instead, where it can do the most amount of damage but move the least amount of hexes. And if there is ever a tie, then it will go to the initiative. Whoever went first of the targeted mercenaries, then it will go by initiative. Now, as for how the monster moves, it will take a path that will do the least amount of damage to itself. So it will treat hazardous terrain and traps as obstacles unless it's the only path for it to go through. It will look at difficult terrain in the same way as normal empty hexes if it's going to be the fastest path to move through. And for monster attacks, of course, this is also self-explanatory. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope perhaps maybe you learned something. You can let me know by leaving a like or a comment. And as always, thanks for stopping by, and hope to see you next time.